Your bad habits are symptoms. Now, what do I mean by this? Your bad habits are basically not habits, they're symptoms of your mental health. Unfortunately for us, in the modern day, everyone's mental health is kind of fucked, and we can change that, fortunately. More and more people are waking up to this fact, and there is thankfully a community of people that have set it as their goal to change their mental health first before transforming into the person they want to be. Now, the real problem is that your mental health is gone, basically. And this leads to the fact that your brain is going to search for ways to numb itself. When your brain experiences a negative emotion and has been used to cheap dopamine, it's going to use that cheap dopamine to numb out the negative emotion. So basically, your brain has conditioned itself to search for dopamine once you figure out that something is not going your way. So a negative emotion. And this is how trauma is built up, by the way. You leave the negative emotion by itself and you numb it with dopamine, or you numb it with basically anything. And the negative emotion doesn't go away, you know that. Because once you stop doing the dopamine, the pleasureful thing, it comes right back. And chances are it's even more powerful than when it was initially formed. So the negative emotion, if you don't feel it immediately after you've stopped the dopamine thing, is going to get stored in your brain. And when it gets stored into your brain, what does it become? It becomes a memory. And a memory of a negative emotion is trauma. So once you build up enough trauma, it will be an automatic response or a habit to go for cheap dopamine. So you can see here, it's not a habit in and of itself that is bad. It is the habits that you have formed which numbs negative emotions with cheap dopamine. That is the habit we need to erase. So this is especially hard in the modern day where there's a culture of people that have gone away from experiencing negative emotions. As I've said in a video on my channel, your emotions are a call to action. So basically, once you experience an emotion, your brain is figuring out that something has gone right or something has gone wrong. Both of the types of emotions are calling you to an action. The good emotion is calling you to celebrate, basically to enjoy the emotion and enjoy the mix of good hormones that are going to basically fix your mental health. While the bad emotion is calling you to action and is telling you that you need to do something about it. Now, what is interesting here, I told this analogy in that video as well, but when you use this negative emotion and you use the emotion specifically to put in work in a purposeful thing towards your goals, basically, you have the equivalent of that bad emotion turned into positive energy, which means you basically transform the emotion. The energy behind this goes into positive energy, and boom, you are rewarding your mental health for doing the right thing and eliminating the bad emotion, not by ignoring it, but by acknowledging it and using it. So your bad habits are symptoms of you being a retard, basically. Your emotions are not just to be felt, they're to do something. And when you do this specifically, you are avoiding depression as well. When you transform your negative emotions into positive ones, it is basically impossible to get depressed, especially when you take action immediately. So treating your emotions like a call to action is one of the most valuable lessons I can give you as well. I told that same sentence over and over again in that video, but I cannot stress this enough. So please do this. Use your bad emotions as fuel. This is especially popular amongst guys that have went through a breakup recently and they get into the gym and they start grinding hard. You've seen that all over the internet, and you can relate that you can use bad emotions as fuel. It's not made as an emotion for you to sit and cry in your bed once you experience it. It would be a stupid trait of the body and of the brain to create an emotion which is meant for you to basically go into a state where you're very, very vulnerable. This is not to say you're not supposed to cry. This is to say that 80% of the time you're supposed to be using the emotion in a positive way, and you'll feel better about it. Sure, you might feel a bit more stressed in the moment that you take the call to action, but this doesn't mean that you won't feel happier after. Now, knowing that bad habits are systems, we need to change your mind and not your actions. This we can basically correlate with the rubber band theory, which is when people want to achieve their goals, you're not supposed to disalign them with your self-image. Because right now, your self-image sits here. And it does not align with the goal you want to go to, because you've not achieved it. But It's like pulling on two sides of the rubber band. And when you pull towards the side where you have achieved your goal, it will tear. But the way for it not to snap is to put your... The way for it not to snap is to put your self-image right where your goals are. And in this way, you're essentially carrying the rubber band. You're not pulling on it. And you're automatically doing the things that will carry you to your goals, because that's the type of person you are to yourself now. Your self-image aligns with the one of a millionaire. And you'll see that when you have the self-image of someone who does not watch porn, for example, you will not watch porn, because watching porn would be sacrificing the person you are. It would be betraying your own mind. And you having the self-image specifically, it will make taking the bad decision so resistant to you that you won't even find pleasure in doing such bad habits. So update your self-image through doing this specifically, treating your bad emotions as a call to action, and basically having positive visualizations. And this might sound cringe, but self-affirmations. Basically telling yourself you're the person that you aren't still. Basically fake it till you make it. This works especially well when you actually convince yourself, because when you convince yourself, you have made it to yourself. Now, of course, to the outside world, you haven't done shit, but that doesn't matter when you carry yourself like you have, because parts of the world is going to start being convinced as well. When you convince yourself, you have convinced basically 90% of the world. So when you convince 90% of the world and yourself, you're not going to betray that personality of yours now, that new self-image. And you're not going to betray it by scrolling on social media for fucking 5 hours. So update your self-image before starting to annihilate your bad habits. Thank you for watching.